let me say a special good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio, GBN TV. Good morning. Welcome inside the Mid-Morning Bus. It's another edition of the Mid-Morning Bus for you. And we do have a special guest with us this morning in terms of our conversation. And we started getting ourselves all geared up for this particular segment this morning. Certainly hope my guest is ready for me this morning so that we could jump directly into it. We do have with us this morning, that's Miss Renae Samuel. And she's from the GFA. And we're talking this morning with all that is going on, taking place with the GFA. Let me go over and say good morning to Renae. Renae, good morning and welcome. How are you this morning?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Doing good. I see that you have that extra bit of spirit in you this morning. What's causing that?
Yes, pure excitement.
All right, man.
To let the general public know what's happening with the GFA. We have a lot of good stuff going on, and it's something that we don't want to keep a secret. No, we want everybody to know and to get on board, and of course to support us.
It's so true. I mean, sometimes there are secrets that folks have to know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are
exactly. But how are you, GT?
I'm doing really, really good. It's such a great morning for me. I'm certainly happy to have you here on the program this morning, so we could share with our listening and viewing audience what's going on with the GFA. And as you mentioned a while ago, there's lots taking place that you want to speak about. First and foremost, how is everything within the GFA for starts? Let's talk about that.
I would say, thank you for the opportunity to be here. We really appreciate it. We know in the station it's always hectic and a lot going on.
So true.
But the accommodation is greatly appreciated. So lots is going on in the GFA, like I said. The mood, the atmosphere, the work, I would say is really commendable. And not because I work there, but it's honestly a true reflection of what is going on, of the effort we put into developing football across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And every organization have their little ups and downs, but I honestly believe from the most part we're doing a really good job, and that's why we're here, to let people know and to come on board and to support us.
All right. Now tell me, football has always been an integral part of course, in Grenada. The GFA being the head body in relation to football in Grenada, in terms of the overall development of football in Grenada and so forth. Now, for the last couple of years, we've been hearing lots of good stuff happening. Tell us about some of the good stuff that's been happening in terms of the GFA, in terms of the training programs and so forth, the various competitions and so forth. Talk to us in relation to that.
Right. So in terms of over the years, what I would say, of course, I am a product of football. I started off playing football and then slowly transitioned. Now I'm back into planning and developing and ensuring that other athletes coming up get that opportunity to be exposed and to benefit from the good stuff that football has to offer. So in terms of what is going on presently, in terms of education-wise, and we have to say kudos to our president, Mr. Glen, the person behind ensuring that, he doesn't sleep, or even when he's sleeping, he's thinking about how he could help develop football in Grenada. And at this point, we have approximately, but over 30 students studying, internationally, especially in the U.S., on football scholarships. And, education is so important. It's the driving force behind, getting to wherever you want to get in life. So we really appreciate Mr. Glen for that. And we want to thank the parents and everybody who has been an integral part of ensuring that we get the scholarship opportunities for these players to be to study abroad and to develop themselves, because at the end of the day, if you have more educated citizens, of course it tells really good of your economy and your nation on a whole, right?
So true. Tell me something in terms of the opportunities that are available for youngsters in terms of football, because sometimes we don't hear about these things. The opportunities that have been presented for youngsters, especially whether it's male or female, and the opportunities that have been presented to them around the world, especially lots of them have opportunities to travel to the US and other parts of the world because of football. Tell us about these opportunities that have been presented.
So we have a lot of opportunities. As I said, we have the scholarship opportunities. There are opportunities for referees, and we see we have a really amazing young crop of referees in the likes of, we have Rion Radix, who's always in the media, going to the US and other places refereeing. We have McManaman Bido, we have Ken Francis, we have Joe Max Wildman, one of the persons who recently returned from goalkeeping courses. We also have Chad and lots of other athletes who, participated. We had Zay Douglas, who recently returned from his stint in Germany, and of course he's transitioning to the US on a scholarship. So we have other opportunities. We have with the Mexican Football Federation, who we're working with to see what other programs and initiatives that we could partner with and extend to other athletes.
Okay, great. Now I understand the national team is in training right now. Of course, we know that they have 5 national teams in training. I understand that. Tell us about that, and what's the reason for that? So that respective tournaments are coming up. Tell us about that.
Yes, exactly. So in times gone by, we would hear, the GFA waiting last minute for people to train, and if they train late, what is the expectation? So of course, we've realized that of course you have to start training earlier in order to have a better prospects, better results. So we have the 5 teams who are in training now for the respective competitions in October, November, and in 2026. So the aim is to get them out now, start training earlier, let them merge as a team, let they gel, let they learn and grow more as a team. So when they go on the field of play, they're able to understand each other better, and their playing styles, even their personalities would be better understood. So we have a much more skilled, functioning team to be able to represent better when we go to our respective competitions. So we have our U17 girls, or U17 boys, or U20 boys, and our national senior men and women's team currently in training, like I said, to ensure that we put the work in and to get better results. So that's something that we've listened to, like I said, and we continue seeing how we could develop. And of course, we know these things take a lot of money. For example, we may have the 5 teams in training, it costs us in excess of over $200,000 because we have to pay salaries, we have to ensure that they have the refreshments, we have practice games that we would plan for them to go playing. So it's not just easily done. We make it look easy as from the GFA, but it's something that's really costly. But we have to do what we have to do, and we do get the support from FIFA and CONCACAF. But of course, the money goes right back into the development, and I think that's one of some of the misconceptions coming from the general public is that the GFA gets so much money. Yes, we do. That is true, but we spend so much more money, and that is why we need support from the diaspora, support from sponsors, and even local citizens. If you could come on board and sponsor and volunteer, it makes life easier. Every hand that comes on board makes a significant difference in our ability to perform and to be more effective and successful for our future generation.
All right, great. I mean, I'm happy that you have come out and cleared the air on that, because misconception is sometimes something that folks would go through for a very long time. Now we know there's the CONCACAF competitions coming up. Talk to me in relation to that also.
Right, so we actually just concluded the U14 and U14 girls and U15 boys CONCACAF competitions, and these competitions, it's just development, for the players to come, because U14 and U15 are players 13, 12, 11, 10, and as far as 9 years old. So these are they're in a very, we'd say, like, delicate age group. They're just breaking out into football, finding themselves, learning, and determining, is it football I want to play? Which position do I want to play? How long do I want to play in football?
The option of grabbing their interest, exactly. Constantly.
So these tournaments is an opportunity to grab their interest, as you rightfully said, and to continue molding them into transitioning into our U18, U20, U19 team. So the results wasn't what we expected in terms of position, but it was an opportunity for them to learn and for us to see our strengths, weaknesses, and to continue building for the tournaments for next year, CONCACAF development tournament, and of course for transitioning them into the other respective national teams. Because what would be important is like when we have the U14 girls, U15 boys, if we could keep these players into training, continue molding them, then they would then feed into our other age group tournaments, like I said, the U14, 15, 18, 20, and even at some point our senior team. Because if we could get these players to be consistent and transition, then we would have, greater prospects.
All right, great. Now, you have a particular, of course, the Summer of Soccer. That program is coming up. Talk to me about that, and of course, how that's going to be run off. Talk to me in relation to that.
Right. So we have our summer soccer program, which started actually July 7th, the week we went on the summer break. And the whole Summer of Soccer idea is an initiative to get players into football. The age group we were aiming for from age 4 to 16. And the opportunity is to get them to whet their appetite, as we say, to get them involved and to learn and to form lifelong relationships and give them an opportunity to enjoy football during that summer break. So we had the first 4 weeks, and then we took a break for Carnival, and here we are back, wrapping up this week actually, and we will be closing off with the finale of our Summer of Soccer Festival at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. That will be tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
All right.
The sessions are absolutely free. You don't have to pay for it. Even if you were not part of the last 4 weeks and you want to show up tomorrow with your child, your children, or even all the children within your household and community, you can do so. Just show up at the National Stadium. We will be providing Summer of Soccer branded T-shirts. We have loads of refreshments, and we would just like to say at this point, kudos to George F. Huggins and Company Grenada Limited for coming on board with us and sponsoring under the brand Ribena. We also have support from Andal and Associates. They would be they're sponsoring us as well, and we're really appreciative for that type of support, because like I said, while we're doing our bit, we could only do more with support from them. So we thank you to these two companies for supporting and ensuring that the kids are adequately nourished for tomorrow. So but we had centers across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique in the last 4 weeks. We had in Fort Plainfield and we also had in Moncton, Plainfield. We had Victoria Park in Grenville. We also had play in St. Patrick. Yeah. We had Plainfield in Bellevue. We had 2 in St. George's, which is Queen's Park Rangers playing field, and we also had Montrouge. We had Alston George in St. Mark, and we had Cuthbert Peters in St. John. We also had Lauriston Mini Stadium, and then we also had Carriacou and Petit Martinique playing field. So we ensure that we covered the entire nation to give children within the respective community an opportunity to play. Even if you didn't come out to the respective centers back then, like I said, and you want to come out, we also would be providing transportation. So if you're coming from any one of the respective locations that I mentioned and you want to get transportation to come down, you can visit the centers. You can also give us a call, 440-9903, to ensure that you get on the bus, you get transportation to the stadium and back. All right. And you're not left behind. If you want to bring the children on your own, feel free to do so, but we're not leaving any child behind. All right. We want all the nation's children to come out, have fun, and learn football, and of course with their appetite to come back for next Summer of Soccer, of course, and to be able to tap into our various youth teams.
Let me ask you this: How was the participation, especially from the previous sessions that was held? St. Patrick's, St. Andrews, and Mosque. You did mention you went around the island, also to the Sister Isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. What was that feedback like? Was the youngsters enthusiastic about being part of this? Tell us about the feedback.
Very. So we had good, I'd say we had a good turnout. Not the numbers that we were aiming for, though, because when school closed, you have a lot of different activities. You have the summer program. You have, a lot of them have classes. You have the CPA. Those who are doing CPA, they have to commit to the first couple of weeks when school closed. So like I said, it's not the numbers that we were aiming for, but we were happy that we saw students coming out at whatever point that they could have. They came out and benefited from the program. Of course, we'll use it as a learning opportunity, and come next year, we'll be planning bigger and better, getting more organizations, more schools, and more communities on board and involved.
All right, great. Happy to hear that. I mean, it's always a learning experience every year. You learn how to tweak things for the next year in terms of how the situation rolls out. Okay, sometimes parents do not understand how it meshes with their child's education. Being part of a physical activity and doing their schoolwork, somehow it gets them to evolve even better in the academic way of life. You understand?
Absolutely. And it teaches you discipline.
Exactly.
You have to show up a specific time. You have to follow instructions. So these simple things aids to your holistic development as an athlete and also as an individual. And these are really fundamental things that helps to mold children. And these are things that we don't want to take lightly, because not only they are on the field opportunities, but they are off the field opportunities. Like I said, you have refereeing, you have the physio, you have the commentary, you have the medical, you have the assessing part of it. You have so much more, and then you have what I do, which is the operational part of it. So if you're not able to excel on the field, but you have the education and you have discipline, then you can branch off into any of the field expertise within football and even sports on a whole.
So true, and I agree with that. Well, we're coming to the end of the wrapping up. Tell us a wee bit. We know the Premier League games. Any updates on that you want to share before we take a wrap this morning?
Yes. We have, really exciting, good stuff. We have Paradise FC International. We'd like to say kudos to them. They've been dominating the points table. Currently, they stand at the top of the table. They're on 23 points, followed by St. John's Sports. They're on 21 points. We have Hurricane SC, they're on 18 points. And we have in fourth position, we have SAB Spartans. They're on 16 points. And then we have St. David's FC. They're on 14 points. So, it's with the slim difference between first, second, third, and even fourth, 1, 2, or even 3 games can make a big difference in who goes up and who comes down. So as we go into the second round of competition, because we took a break for the carnival period and we're back, we expect to see more excitement, more vigor, more enthusiasm, because of course at the end of this competition we have lucrative prizes. We have $100,000 up for grabs, which Paradise FC copped last season, and we know that other clubs are watching on and trying to strategize and see how we could dethrone Paradise and get that money, and it's good for the club, for club development, of course, because while we see clubs coming out and participate, it takes a lot, especially in transportation, to get from Paradise to St. George's. Sometimes it depends on the type of bus you take. It can easily cost $500. So if you have to do that 5, 6, 7 times per season, 8 times per season, then it takes a lot from them. They have uniforms, they have to pay coaches, they have to get equipment. So while we support the club by giving them, a portion of the equipment and support, they need to be able to sustain themselves. So the money that we give, especially for the first prize, will definitely come in handy. So we're looking forward to the competition. We're looking forward to the camaraderie, the bantering, because of course that helps to make or break a team's ability to want to continue their dominance. And right off the Premier League points table, we have some of our top scorers. We have Keston Williams from Paradise FC International and Joshua Isaac, both of Paradise FC. They're both on 6 points, 6 goals. We also have 4 players who are all on 5 goals. So we have Raheem Rayburn from Knoxstars FC, Christian Julian from Hurricanes FC, Jamal Rocasso from Hard Rock, and Jamal Gittins of St. David's FC. They're all on 5 goals.
All right, great.
So
and you got me worried there. I'm looking at the points stand. There's the top scorers, and I saw a name there, and I was saying, hey, that looks like my son's name, but that's not. I know my son can't play football.
Oh, it's not. Maybe he could be if he gets in training and preparing and and setting his eyes on next season.
At the age he's at, I don't think he's ready yet, but I will suddenly get him involved in that because I'm seeing Ethan Telesford, and I'm saying, hey, what's my son's name in that?
So get him into our summer of soccer, and let's take it one step at a time he's ready and when you're ready as well.
Yeah.
And then going back to the points table, we have on 4 points, on 4 goals. We have both Ethan Telesford of FC Camerhon and Chevron Sampson of St. John's Boot. So they're both on 4 goals. And we also have the Golden Boot award, which we would be giving to the top goal scorer at the end of the season. So the race is on. Keep scoring, keep pushing your team forward and ensuring that you not only get into the race for the Golden Boot, but also you contribute to your team success and getting a position on the I would say within the top position within the Premier League table.
All right, great. And certainly it's a plus for football in Grenada, and I'm certainly happy to see the youngsters being participating and being rewarded a whole lot, because sometimes the reward is what stirs the motivation of wanting to continue to be part of a particular sporting discipline. The rewards that comes from it. The rewards that comes from it.
And we saw. Go ahead, sorry. And we saw that from our last award ceremony, which we had last October, by, having the award ceremony after approximately like a 10-year break. We reintroduced the award ceremony and we saw the vigor. We got the positive feedback, and we believe that is part of the reason why we see clubs showing up to their game, showing up on time and giving their best performance on the pitch, because not only they want to win the top prize, but they also want to we have a lot of exciting individual categories. We have most disciplined team, most best coach. We have, and those are both in female and male categories. We also have the best goalkeeper, which is a Golden Glove, best striker, best defender, best midfielder. So they really want to be able to shine and to stand out, and we continue looking for ways where we can reward the team, because of course if we continue to reward them, they would continue to perform, and of course our football would continue to grow, and then we would have brighter prospects for our national team, respective national teams.
All right. Of course, Renae, I want to thank you a whole lot for sharing information this morning. I know there are listeners and viewers out there who are, of course, actually waiting to hear the information relating to what's going on with football in Grenada and everything that the GFA is doing, because sometimes we would scrap for those information, and so I want to thank you a whole lot. I hope we could do this again.
Of course, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that.
I hope we could do this again, and where you come out and share much more information. I think we just kind of grazed the surface today on today's program.
Yes,
we just grazed the surface.
That was the entree. That was like the appetizer.
The appetizer. We don't go into that real meal of it soon. All right.
Of course. But just before I leave, just to kind of restate quickly, we have our Summer of Soccer Festival tomorrow at the Renae James National Athletic Stadium from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Remember, the session is absolutely free. It's an opportunity, a day of fun for the children from ages 4 to 16. Bring them out, let them come and have fun, form lifelong relationships. Give them an opportunity to not only learn about football, but to be able to get onto our youth national teams. Remember, we'll be providing lots of refreshments. We'll be providing branded Summer of Soccer t-shirts for everyone. Come out, bring the entire family, bring all the children in your community. We will be providing buses from throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Remember that you can give us a call 440-9903 if you would like to let us know that you would be coming but need transportation. Even if you were not part of the last 4 weeks of our Summer of Soccer, you can still come out tomorrow just for that one day of fun. Do not let your children stay home and miss this amazing opportunity. Come out, remember, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon tomorrow at Renae James Stadium. Come out, have fun, and help live your children's dream in football.
All right, great. And I certainly hope all the listeners and viewers will send their sons and daughters out and, have the whole thing filled to capacity, that everyone feels overwhelmed. And we know that the future of football in Grenada is in good hands. Thank you once again, Renae.
Absolutely. Thank you, GT, and the entire GBN for hosting us this morning. I'm looking forward to coming back. Have a good day.
You're certainly welcome. Have a good one. All the best. All right. Hey, folks, that's a big wrap today's edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz here. Of course, we've been talking to Renae from the GFA. And, of course, she shared loads of information with us this morning. Until we have another edition. Have a good one, folks. That's what we say goodbye.